Good day and welcome to my channel. My name is Rhod Mackenzie and today I want to talk about how decisions made by German politicians to reject their cooperation with Russia has had catastrophic effects on the country's economy. Now, the German economy has been in a state of decline for the third consecutive year. Now, this timeline coincides with the breaking off of economic relations with Russia. Now, this has led to major industrial sectors of the country implementing hugely significant amounts of job losses, and these come in the number of hundreds of thousands. Analysts are now convinced that it's a major crisis situation that's only going to get worse. So what are the key factors that led to Germany, the EU's economic engine, to collapse? And why are its industrial giants either closing down or relocating to other places? Well, the loss of cheap energy and natural resources from Russia. The German export economic miracle that started in the late 1990s was based on cooperation with Russia because it imported large amounts of German companies' industrial output while exporting to Germany oil, gas, diesel, petrol and various other commodities. Now let's recall that Gerald Schroeder, the former German Chancellor, once said that a strong Germany, and therefore now the EU, is only possible through close cooperation with Russia. Now, Schroeder was also the architect of the growth behind the German economic boom of the late 1990s through the 2015, and he was also the major proponent of the Nord Stream pipelines, and it was actually the company's chairman. Today, none of these conditions are met, and the competitiveness of the European economy has subsequently plummeted. Now, before I continue, many of you watching this video are not subscribers to my channel. So if you enjoyed this video, then please hit the subscribe button and also click on the alert bell so you get notified when I post a new video. Plus, if you want to support me, you can make a donation by clicking on the thanks button at the bottom of the video screen on the right hand side, or by clicking on the Buy Me a Coffee link below in the credits. Now that this cooperation with Russia has ended, Germany is facing an ongoing period of economic decline and stagnation. The German Chamber of Commerce and Industry, DHIK, has reported that there are no signs of economic recovery anywhere in any sector of the economy except bankruptcy practitioners. Business expectations are even more challenging. In May, 25% of companies assessed their situation as very unsatisfactory. Now, according to the forecast by the German Institute of Economics, more than a third of companies will cut staff, with up to 150,000 employees facing redundancy. Now, according to preliminary estimates by industry organisations, over 300,000 people have lost their jobs in the manufacturing sector over the last 2 years. More workforce reductions and relocations of production to other continents are happening. The phenomenon of Germany's deindustrialisation is becoming increasingly evident. Now, this is primarily due to high energy costs, resulting from lost access to cheap energy from Russia, and Germany has the highest energy consumption in Europe. Now, this decline's had a domino effect on other German industries, with metallurgy, mechanical engineering and the chemical industry also suffering. For comparison, in 2024, the cost of industrial electricity in Germany was 23 euro cents per kilowatt, while in the US it was 8.4. Now, the green transition has proved expensive, and it's also proved it's not capable of replacing traditional sources, according to Jan Pinchuk, who's the Deputy Head of Energy Trading at Whitebird. Now, over a year ago, the former ECB President Mario Draghi published a report called EU Competitiveness, A Look Ahead, in which he noted that energy become one of the region's few key problems, and that situation was worsening. He cited the following calculations. From 2019 to 2023, the EU experienced an increase in its expenditure on fossil fuel imports from 341 billion to 516 billion euros. 4% of the GDP. Plus the decline in supplies from Russia from 40% to 8%, and an increase in purchase of liquefied natural gas, which is far more expensive. Now, in 2024, the retail and wholesale price of natural gas was 3 to 5 times higher than the US. Plus the cost of electricity, particularly in the industrial sector, was double that amount. Consequently, EU countries have rapidly lost their competitiveness in comparison to the United States and China, and they've become dependent on the import of raw materials and technology. Plus, the country's investment climate has deteriorated significantly, and major companies including Volkswagen, BASF and Siemens are currently in the process of relocating their production operations to other countries, with a particular focus on the US and China. This is because the Americans are offering more favourable finance and tax conditions, including substantial subsidies for green technologies and electric vehicles. China is also an attractive location for businesses due to its extensive access to resources and components. Plus, both the US and China represent significant domestic markets, according to Anastasia Prikhodova, who's a professor of international business at the Russian University of Economics. Now back to Mario Draghi, the former ECB president. The cost of American LNG in Europe is 60 to 90% higher than in the US, and that includes logistics and regasification expenses. Now, the imposition of anti-Russian sanctions. During the ongoing standoff with Moscow, there's been a significant loss for all the parties, but particularly the automotive manufacturers, who were compelled to divest their Russian factories and other assets at bargain basement prices. And they also lost major markets where they were selling vast amounts. In 2022 alone, Volkswagen wrote off losses of 1.9 billion euros. The BASF chemicals concern, which invested in gas production projects in Western Siberia through its Wintershall Dea joint venture, which the Germans own 72%, had losses of 7.3 billion in 2023. Mercedes-Benz, BMW and Siemens all reported significant losses, with Mercedes losing 700 billion euros, BMW 600 million euros and Siemens 600 million also. Bosch, Henkel and Metro were also severely impacted. In addition to these costs, significant expenses are incurred in re-engineering global supply chains and logistics. Now, the trade deal with the US. In this context, the EU trade dispute has a significant impact on European industry, causing dual challenges. German companies have lost yet another significant market. Now, the rate of duty on goods, including automobiles and pharmaceuticals, has increased from 2.5% to 15%. The accountancy firm Deloitte estimates that Germany alone will lose about 60 billion euros per year. Machine building is expected to also be impacted, with a decline of 33% in their overseas exports, resulting in losses of 10 billion euros. The pharmaceutical industry will lose around 5.1 billion euros. It's also anticipated that the automotive and chemical sectors will be severely impacted. Now, in view of the fact that Chinese corporations are actively expanding their presence in the European market, that's placing pressure on local enterprise and undermining their market position. So the overall situation for them is somewhat disheartening. Analysts believe that the deindustrialization for many European countries, primarily Germany and France, is going to be critical for the entire EU. Germany is the largest contributor to the EU general budget, with a net contribution of 25 billion in 2023. The French are in second place with 12 billion, and Brussels is losing its main sponsors. This poses a significant threat to the systematic stability, as this leads to a decline in the EU in its global competitiveness that will weaken the euro currency and erode the confidence in it. So the collapse of the industrial base of EU's driving forces could trigger a profound budgetary and political crisis and call into question the very viability of the European Union itself. This is all because they decided to punish Russia, and they ended up destroying the economies of Europe and impoverishing their people. Anyway, thank you for watching. See you again soon.